Welcome to Secular Soup. I'm Amy with a Y.
And I'm Amy with an I.
And we're just two blueberries floating in a bowl of tomato soup. Stay tuned for real talk about atheism, feminism, politics, parenting, and whatever the fuck else we want to talk about because this is our show. Get ready for a whole lot of motherfucking profanity. Buckle up, bitches. It's time to have some soup.
Episode 9?
Yes, which is so close to 10. Oh my God.
And then I lose count because I ran out of fingers.
I can't count past... Yeah, well, I have toes. I could probably get to 20.
Oh, yeah. See, I went to public school. I always forget about my toes.
Yeah, I know. So we're going to talk about the politics part. We've talked about atheism and feminism. Now we're going to talk about politics.
And then we run out of episodes. That's it. Game over.
Because we already did parenting.
Because that's all the things you listed. That's all we can talk about.
And I feel like whatever the fuck else we want to talk about can really encompass basically. We could do a whole show on cats. And so, anyway,
I am a fan
politics.
Of cats. I like cats.
Yeah. You a Trump supporter?
Mm-hmm. Of course, aren't you?
How about that State of the Union? Love Trump.
I like the applauding. That's always my favorite part of the State of the Union address is everybody applauds so much. They're not that happy to hear anybody talk. No one has ever been that happy to hear anyone talk in the history of ever.
No.
But they just keep applauding and they're like, they'll make sure everybody sees me being on the president's side. Mm-hmm. You know, it's very...
I love the stand up, sit down thing because they stand up to clap and they sit back down. They stand up again and then they sit back down.
It's always my favorite part. And then just seeing their faces. And then they're like, I don't want to be the first to sit back down.
I know. My favorite is when you've got a vice president who's a different party than the Speaker of the House. And then you can watch their facial expressions behind the president disagreeing with each other. So like Joe Biden and John Boehner were great for that.
Best.
It was,
his facial expressions, he couldn't school them.
And then you'd have Boehner just crying on the other side of him. I miss those days. That was so fun. I didn't bother with the State of the Union because I physically can't stomach watching Donald J. Trump speak for any length of time. But my husband watched it because he's just a news junkie and can't help himself. And I actually, surprisingly, I fell asleep before it started because I sleep 16 hours a day.
What time did it start?
Listeners will be shocked to hear that. It started at 8 o'clock. I probably fell asleep 8:30ish. I don't know.
I was working on a paper. I just finished it. I've been working on it since Sunday. And so that's all I've been doing for like the past 3 days of my life. I've just been working on a paper. I finally submitted it and I was like, holy shit, I'm done. I don't know what to do with my life anymore. Like, what do I do with my life now that I'm not writing a paper on mobile business and technology? And like, I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do? Podcast. I'll podcast. Okay.
Podcasting. Yeah. That's always a good backup.
I didn't watch. It's my fallback plan. It's my safety school.
It's a fantastic career. So.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't watch the State of the Union address either.
He was watching it and I don't know how far through it was, but he actually woke me up just to tell me, and his exact words were, this motherfucker's gonna kill all of us. He's gonna get us all killed. Fucking A, what is wrong with him? He keeps talking shit about North Korea. He's gonna fucking kill us all. And he was just so angry that he had to wake me up to tell me that.
In the State of the Union address, that is, oh my God. Are you kidding me?
I'm just, well, no, I mean, Trump didn't say that. That's what my husband said about Trump. So he was mad that Trump was talking so much shit about North Korea that my husband's reaction was, he's going to fucking kill all of us. Oh my God. He's going to get us into a war. Do you feel like, because I've heard a lot of people talking about how if you don't watch it, you're somehow not being informed or you're missing out on information just because you don't want to watch the president. But I just kind of feel like that's the case. I don't think you learn anything new. Do you?
I do kind of feel like that because I remember getting so upset at my family members that would say, you know, I'm not going to vote for Hillary. I just don't like her. And then I'd ask, well, did you watch the debates? And they were like, oh, no, I'm not going to watch those. And so I kind of feel like I'm just doing the same thing to a certain extent. But then on the other hand, I also feel like I've given him over a year and I've watched literally everything, and I'm kind of burned out at this point.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing is like, what new information are we going to get? Given his previous entire year, how am I going to learn anything new or useful by watching it? Is he going to suddenly turn into a good person?
He has no new information. Do you think has he gotten more attractive?
I doubt he's gotten more attractive. I didn't watch it, so I wouldn't know, but...
Because I don't see how he could, because he's like, a 10 for me, so...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We all know you're in love with him and his
I am, secretly.
Gorgeous hair.
It's not a secret anymore.
Orange hair and skin, and just declare your love to the world. It's fine.
Yeah.
This is a safe space. Nobody's
If I was ever to set up a dating profile, it'd be like, type Donald Trump-ish. Donald Trump, Trump-like.
Trump mixed with Ted Cruz. If Trump and Ted Cruz had a baby, that's who you'd want to date.
That's who I would get a restraining order from.
That's your dream man.
That's my dream man.
So,
sign me up for that.
When do you feel like you first kind of got political? Like when you were still conservative, were you really political, or was it just kind of an afterthought that, I'm religious, so this is kind of how I'm going to vote, but you didn't follow it? Like, what's your history with politics?
I watched debates. I remember watching debates all the way from the time I was a kid, but it was with my parents, and so it was always, very much influenced by their reactions to people. And I remember watching the original Clinton debates with the first George Bush, and he was. I remember my mom saying, "Oh, look at those beady eyes. He's like a lying snake." And so I used to think, man, Clinton's such a sleazy guy, and because that was my mom's reaction. And so because I wasn't super old. I was fairly young the first time Clinton ran. And so, I remember just watching and being active, but it was kind of I didn't.
Just like absorbing what your parents.
Right. I didn't read. I didn't look further into issues. I didn't understand what they were talking about. And then with George W., I got most of my information from Saturday Night Live. Because I was
there's worse places to get information.
I was a young adult, and I thought it was hilarious that they were roasting him, even though he was my guy, So.
Yeah.
Because I had noticed he was stupid. How could you not?
I remember thinking he was the stupidest person alive, and it couldn't get worse. And now he's in office,
Hold my beer.
So you told me last time that you voted for George W. Bush, and I'm still trying to decide if I can forgive you for that. I
did.
I feel dirty just thinking about that.
I voted for Romney.
Did you feel real good about, were you excited?
Yeah. I remember watching the recount, on the edge of my seat and being so happy with the results. And, I did.
Was it more exciting for you because he was a Mormon and it was was that Romney? A big thing in the Mormon community? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was huge.
Or was it just that he was conservative?
No, he was Mormon. Yeah. Too. Mormons are very big at, patting themselves on their backs when it's their guy, it's their team player. We grew up knowing all of the Mormon actors and actresses, and who was Mormon, or who they still claim people that are Mormon even if they've been baptized and they aren't active anymore, like Gladys Knight. And the guy from Ricky Schreider from Silver Spoons. I don't know. He's Mormon.
I know who you mean.
The girl from Knocked Up, the main character.
Oh, Katherine Heigl.
She was raised Mormon. She's obviously not active anymore, but they still claim her because even though she does dirty movies, according to Mormons, because she uses the swears and she wears non-conservative clothes and stuff, they'll still claim her because she's famous, and even famous people are cool Mormons. So, yep.
Yeah, Lutherans don't really have that problem. I can't name a single notable Lutheran, aside from Garrison Keillor, but we don't really want to claim him anymore, so...
Yeah, I know all of... I have the list in my head, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. When I was growing up, I didn't live in a particularly political house. It was not really something we talked much about. Like, my dad was always kind of considered himself Republican or conservative, but mainly just because he doesn't like paying taxes. So that was his issue. He just didn't want to have to pay taxes. But like socially, he's liberal on everything. So he would argue with me a lot, which is how I became so argumentative. It's my dad's fault. But I remember like when the Iraq War, the first Iraq War back in the day in the 90s, when that was happening, I was probably 13-ish. And I remember going off on something about how war is terrible. And, you know, he would push back with, well, then what are we supposed to do? Should we just leave those people alone to fight on their own and not help them?
Right.
And I would have to think about it some more. And he would always argue for things. Even if he didn't agree with it, he was just constantly the devil's advocate.
Oh, that's good. Like, it taught you the critical thinking skills that you needed.
Yeah. It forced me to think about what my opinions actually were and if they were valid or not. And he continues to do it to this day. So
my parents
play the opposite side of everything.
They didn't raise critical. I mean, they raised critical thinkers, but they raised critical thinkers by teaching us to not. I mean, they didn't teach us not to think, but they taught us how we should think. And all of us pushed against it ourselves. Yeah. So, because they also raised, it's very odd. My family is very odd. They stressed education highly for all of us, not just the boys, but for the girls and the boys. And they stressed education highly.
The women folk too?
The ladies and the dudes.
Wow.
Yeah. So they stressed education for everybody because my parents, neither one of them had a college degree, and so they wanted their children to have better life than they did, and so they stressed that. But then they were super Mormon, and then they taught this is how you're supposed to think, this is what you're supposed to believe, this is what you're supposed to feel and everything. But those two things don't really go together. So the more you go to school, the less religious you are, and everyone in my family has college, like all of my siblings and including myself, we all have college degrees at this point. So it's, and none of us are Mormon. So that's kind of what happened.
I belong in a family of college dropouts. So none of us have college degree. My parents don't. I dropped out. My brother never really went to college. We're all just winging it through life,
we just
like it was.
College
was important growing up. Like I was expected to go to college. It's not like education was definitely valued in our family. And, the only reason my parents didn't have college educations is because one of them got pregnant at 17 and here I am. Yeah. So they didn't really have a chance to go to college. They had to start making a living and.
Yeah, they had babies real close together. That's what happened to us, my parents too. My brother and I are 15 months apart.
Wow. Yeah, my brother and I are 3 years apart, but yeah, so we didn't talk politics much in our house. I had to radicalize myself to be a just total left-wing socialist. Like, I totally wish I lived in Sweden where everything was socialist, and that's me. Aside from being a Marxist, I'm about as left as you can go.
I think I am too, pretty much. I align pretty far social, like almost socialism, like, yeah, I'm pretty far. And my
I had a hard.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you
go.
You hang up. No, you hang.
No,
No, so when I made that transition from like liberal leaning conservative to like the conservative feminist sort of is what I was identified with previously. I was kind of more middle, like independent, but voted conservative, but I was liberal leaning on a lot of things. I was a single issue voter, and to like all the way in the corner, like the social, like practically a socialist at this point. It's interesting talking politics with my parents now because I used to align pretty closely with them. I was a little more liberal than them, but now I'm like, they don't even know who I am.
The opposite.
Yeah.
What was your single issue?
Abortion.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah. Because
that's pretty common. I mean, that's especially where I live. That's people only vote on guns and abortion.
That was all. I've never liked guns, so it's always been abortion.
Yeah, it's not even, people say God, gays, guns. Really here, it's not even about God. It's just about guns and about abortion. Mm-hmm. And if you get it right on one of those two, people will vote for you. And if not, you're fucked. So politics in my town is super frustrating. And even the Democrats where I live, like the people who run for state, the state Senate and the state House tend to be pro-life Democrats, which is frustrating. Like, I get it because that's how they can have a shot at winning, but yet I can't give my time and effort and money to candidates that just on that issue that I care about. Like, I'm not a single issue voter. I will still vote for them because they're better than the alternative.
Right. Yeah. But that's what I found myself doing now. Because they have to play to the party.
Yeah, they do. And there's just no winning. Like, that's just how the numbers play out. And I have a friend who's actually going to be running this next cycle for the state house, and I'm really excited because he's very pro Second Amendment, but totally liberal on absolutely everything else.
Good.
So, like, he's running. We're still in the primary process. He doesn't have the endorsement yet, but he's going to run specifically talking about gun issues because that's, the liberals are going to vote for him just because he's the liberal, and on all the, on the environment and healthcare and education, on that stuff, they agree with him. And so, you don't have to worry as much about those voters. He already aligns with them. But the people who are only voting on the gun issue, who just keep voting for Republicans just because of the Second Amendment, I think he can win a lot of those voters over because he can talk credibly about the Second Amendment and about how he's a gun owner and he's pro Second Amendment and he's a concealed carry guy. And so I'm hopeful that he actually has a shot at winning. And I actually had a discussion with him trying to help him kind of plan his speech that he's going to do. And I'm like, just don't even bring up abortion. Just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
The people who are liberal, you can kind of give them a wink and a nod. Like, yes, I'm with you on the abortion issue. And for the conservatives, just don't fucking talk about it. And maybe everything will be okay. I don't know. We're just going to bet on the gun issue to be a winner. But there's a lot of debate amongst liberals, especially lately, about do we settle with candidates that we're not totally happy with, or do we vote third party, or do we vote for the people that we agree with and all the principles?
That's how we ended up with
because
Trump,
that's the only way the system's going to change. Yeah.
I mean, that's how we ended up
I was going to see kind of where you stand on that.
I mean, that's how we ended up with Trump, is people were like, my morals, I have to stand my ground and make a statement. No, dude, no. If there's, only two candidates that are actually having a potential to win, just, vote for the better one, please.
Well, yeah. And I feel like the whole, but I don't, I can't just vote for the lesser of two evils. And to me, that's a really fucking privileged thing to say, because that means that,
if that's all that's
who wins isn't going. Well, not only that, but it's not going to affect you then who wins. That means that you live the type of life where the actual policy decisions that are going to get made don't really affect you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Hillary Clinton may not have been great on a lot of issues, and I may not have agreed with her on a lot of issues, but on something like abortion, she's infinitely better, and there are people who aren't going to have access to abortion now because of this decision. And when you think about LGBT issues, okay, maybe this candidate doesn't agree with you on your pet issue, but there's a lot of LGBT people whose lives are going to be affected negatively because laws are being passed because you had to keep your purity vote and
healthcare, the elderly. Everything.
Sick people, kids. It's to be able to just say, well, I'm just going to, even when you wholeheartedly know that the person you're voting for can't win and isn't even a contender, for you to be able to say, well, I'm just I'm not going to vote for the lesser of two evils. I'm going to vote. Well, then
I have to stick to my conscience.
Throwing your vote away.
It's like, dude, why did you even wait in line?
That's quite the luxury to be able to stick with your conscience on everything. Like,
I agree.
Yeah, that's exactly how we got Trump. And I'm sorry, but Trump is a lot fucking worse than Clinton. And there are liberals who will debate you on that. And be
Except
like,
he looks so much better in a suit. He just looks so much better in a suit.
That's true. I mean, Clinton rocks a pantsuit,
she
but
does,
she can't pull it off like Trump. She doesn't have the tiny tie.
Mm-hmm. I think this is the first time we've actually had like a cover model as our president. It's pretty exciting. I feel very proud of that.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, the way he boldly wears suits that don't fit him, that's a fashion
it's just confidence.
Statement that not too many people are brave enough to make. And there's one thing I find attractive, it is confidence. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's easy to watch the news when you have someone that easy on the eyes.
Thank you.
That you can look at.
And the ears. You know? Like just hearing him, like it's like sultry.
Yeah. It's like liquid chocolate. It feels so good in my ears.
You get it.
And it helps his message go down a little more easily. You know, like if I can look at you and you're well, yeah, he does have really good ideas. So
he has the best ones. They're the best.
They're the hugest.
Bigly best ideas.
How sad is it that I'm confident my 7-year-old would make a better president than Donald Trump? Confident. I guarantee if you put my 7-year-old into the Oval Office, he would make America better than what Trump is doing.
Yeah.
He'd at least give everyone free pizza and candy. Like, he'd make a positive change. Yeah, it's funny because now my kids, especially the younger one, hear me and my husband bitching about Trump so much that, you know, when the election happened, my 7-year-old actually sat and watched the election returns come in on the news with my husband.
Oh, we did too.
And he was like cheering. He was cheering when he would see Hillary Clinton come up.
Aww.
And then if he'd see Trump's name come up, he'd be like, no, Donald Trump, no. And every time he sees the name Trump on the news, he boos audibly. He's just, he has no clue what he's talking about, but yeah.
We had the maps, and I had the red and blue colored pencils, and we were coloring them in.
Oh, God, you're a nerd.
And, shh, no one knows that.
Way too much effort to put in.
Hey, no, I have to keep my cool exterior. No one knows I'm a nerd. I'm a secret nerd.
Yeah.
So,
you're a nerd. It's okay.
No one knows I'm a nerd. I won't tell you what my paper was about. No. So I had the maps and so yeah, we printed out the maps and I had that and we had flags and I was so excited to like witness history because it was going to be the first woman president and it was so exciting and, you know, show my daughter, show my sons, you know, everything, how exciting this was. And we were sitting there coloring it and I was like, everybody just go to bed. Because I started doing the calculations. I'm like, just go to bed. Everybody just go to bed.
Oh, God.
This doesn't speak to my nerdiness, but I actually am good at stats. So
I remember my brother texting me going, what the fuck is happening? And I'm like, just calm down. It's fine. You just got to wait till, you know, like California comes in. This always happens. It'll be fine. Everybody calm down. And I was talking to everybody on Facebook, like, it's fine. Calm down. And I went to bed because, I need 17 hours of sleep a night. So I went to bed early and I'm like, it's fine. And my husband was like, I don't know. I think Trump could win. I'm like, yeah, that's just not going to happen. I'm going to bed. It's fine. Because I was that confident.
Yeah, my husband went to bed. He went to bed too.
Yeah. I woke up to a broken heart the next day. So
I had my first
husband
hangover.
Actually the next morning, he really. My husband told me he won and I didn't believe him. So I thought sure my husband was just messing with me. And so I had to get on my phone and like check the news alerts because I'm like, you're lying. No, really? I'm like, no. God, I was pissed. I was so mad at Nate Silver for stringing me along half the night. And because I kept watching 538 and it was like, no, she's definitely.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
I kept checking. I kept checking. And so my husband went to bed and he was like, you know, you can just tell me in the morning or I'll just see in the news or whatever. And so I'm like, okay. And I stayed up and watched and I was drinking Kraken. It's like 100 proof spiced rum. And I had my first hangover because I didn't stop. Because I've never been so sick in my entire life in every way possible. Or since. Like before or since, I've never been. I think that's the only hangover I've ever had, or like ever actually had. But I woke him up in the middle of the night. I was like, Trump just won. Because I dozed on the couch and I woke up to his acceptance speech. And I was like, what's happening?
Gross.
And everybody was cheering, and I was like, why are they cheering the loser? And then I realized that was not. Oh. We went to a Louis C.K. Show the next night.
Did he masturbate on you?
I'm wondering, was it me? Was it something I did? Was it something I said? Because I was right there in the audience, and he didn't even offer.
What a jerk.
Right? When I found out, I was like, I was right there. Looking like I do.
You're so cute. And like, come on.
Right?
What the fuck? Ugh.
And my dress was see-through, but I pretended like I didn't know. Just kidding. It's okay. It is? Oh, this old thing. But no, we went to the Louis C.K. show, and I remember he walked out on stage, and he was like, so that was weird. Like, it was just, and that's kind of how everybody was feeling. It was just like in shock and numb.
Yeah. So. I actually arranged kind of an impromptu bitch session the next night. Like, I kind of rounded up all my friends that were pissed off, and we just got together and went to a bar just to bitch.
Good.
And I had a few friends that I invited, but they were like, no, I just can't. Like, this is hard, but if it's just going to be a bitch session, I don't want to come. And I was like, good, don't come, because you're not going to like it. We're just going to complain.
You're like,
so about
guess
10
what?
of us
Good
got
news,
together
bad
and
news.
literally just drank and complained. Yeah, it was just us.
Yeah.
Practically in tears. Some of us legitimately in tears, just like in shock and trying to figure out what the fuck happened. And yeah, there's so much blame to go around, but I'm so sick of hearing if the Democrats had just known Hillary was like the worst candidate. And was she though? Was she really the worst candidate? She was more qualified than many, many people who have run for office. She had her faults.
She was better than the one she ran against. That's pretty much all it takes.
I mean, right? Like, I heard so many, even from women, saying, well, I just couldn't vote for her because she's a bitch. Like, great. That's your reasoning? Fantastic.
Yeah, my mom just couldn't vote for that woman. That woman. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And I even had... I knew people who were liberal who were like, well, I just couldn't vote for her because she stood by Bill Clinton and when he was having affairs, and that just shows that she has no self-respect. And if she just doesn't have enough self-respect to leave him, then I just don't trust her. And it's like, but you'll trust Trump? Are you kidding me?
I actually used to feel like that about her.
Women held to such a higher standard.
That was my exact opinion of her. I used to have that exact opinion of her.
Did you?
That I didn't
And did it
respect
change?
her.
Like, how did that...
I watched interviews with her, and I actually read about her and researched the candidates. Yeah. Well, I didn't. I mean, before it was just Trump and Hillary, Trump and Clinton, I guess.
Yeah.
It always bothered me that people say Hillary and then Trump, like giving him his last name and giving her her first. But then I just did it. Anyway.
Well, you know what? I thought that too, but until I because when the campaign was first starting, I was like, why do we have to call her by her first name? But she did that as a marketing technique. So she's the one that had Hillary on all of her signs. Because she's like personable.
Yeah.
So it was her choice. So I don't feel bad about it. Normally I would be like, yeah, why do we have to use her first name? But she made that decision, I think, probably to distinguish herself from Bill Clinton. So don't feel bad. It's okay. I've absolved you. Whew. It's all right. Say 10 Hail Marys and you'll be fine.
Marketing trends just work on me so well because I'm so susceptible to suggestion.
Yeah. Well, it's your little lady brain. You can't help it.
But I did think that. I thought that, I didn't respect her because she stood by Bill and didn't leave him and all of that stuff. And I thought, I would just have so much more respect for her. And then I realized, they have a history together. They've been married for, a billion years.
Yeah.
And she's a businesswoman. It's she's a politician. She's a businesswoman.
Yeah.
It makes good business sense to stay with him.
Yeah.
And it's good politics. They didn't even live in the same city most of the time. So, you know, you can get your strange.
Yeah, like people can have
I'm all for
different
that
kinds of
for her.
Yeah, not all marriages have to be exactly the same. Like they can negotiate their own marriage and that's between them, and they can decide that it's whatever they want it to be. It doesn't have to be anyone's idealized vision of what a marriage is. They were essentially business partners, and that's fine. That's what works for them, you know? I'm not a marriage doctor, so
Me neither.
Yeah. I just no, right? I am a doctor of everything else, though, so.
Oh, okay.
Just not
good. I'm going to send you pictures of a rash later. You'll appreciate it.
Okay. It's probably gonorrhea. I'll just tell you that right up front.
Finally. I've been trying to get it for years.
Yep.
Just kidding.
So what else do we have to say about politics? Because I'm fresh out of ideas.
That's pretty much it. I have nothing to say. I've been so mad for so long.
I know. It's like I've been walking around with this rage just seething inside of me since last year that just won't go away.
I went to the hospital on January 20th of last year, which was the when he was sworn in, the Women's March, and when he was sworn in as president. And wasn't it the inauguration? Yes.
Yeah, the inauguration was the first day, and then the Women's March was the next day.
Okay, right. So I went to the hospital on January 20th, and with chest pains, and I was like, I don't know what's happening, and so I was terrified that I was having a heart attack because Trump was president, because I'm crazy. It turns out I'd torn my chest wall muscle by being a mom. Yeah, I was lifting my kid and turning and tore my chest wall muscle. But the nurse came in and he was like, "Hey, how are you doing today?" And I glanced at the TV and I was like, "Not great." And he laughed. He was like, "Me neither." I was like, "Yay." I don't know where that story was going, but that was
I don't. It's none of our stories go anywhere, so people should know that.
They don't. And I didn't go to the Women's March because I was in the hospital, so getting all
I guess that's a good enough
on
excuse.
My chest area.
I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
Sounds like a good time. Yeah, I just had my regular doctor's appointment, and my doctor is like, she's just the happiest, perkiest person on the planet. She's just genuinely nice and sweet. But yeah, she came in, "So how are we doing?" And I'm like, "Not fucking good." And she kind of was like, "Oh yeah, that. Yeah, no, there's a lot of unhappy people around here too." I'm like, "Yeah, well, I just got through that appointment and left and went to work and then was mad at work all day. So good times." So glad we're living in the age of Trump.
Ugh. It's gross. Yeah. So I guess we should have watched the State of the Union address, but I don't want to. So I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl on Sunday either. So
yeah, me neither.
There we go.
I don't.
Yeah.
Super Bowl's 2 hours away from me and I don't give a fuck. I'm not watching it.
I usually go to restaurants.
Birthday, so.
Oh yeah, so you're gonna party.
Well, I had to wait and schedule his party till the week after because I knew all my friends that watched the Super Bowl would bitch if I tried to have his party on that day. So my poor child has to wait an extra week to have his birthday party just because of football. So he's not pleased about that.
We have a tradition that started years and years ago by accident. We scheduled a date night to go out to like this restaurant that there's always a long wait. And, it just happened to be on Super Bowl Sunday because, sports scene, we just don't pay much attention to it. And you show up and there's no line and you just walk straight in. And so that became like a regular occurrence is let's go find like the most exclusive restaurant we can think of and go there because it's open on Sunday nights.
That's a good idea.
And, I mean, do you want to go on a date with me? Because I'm down a +1.
I'll be right there.
Sweet. Yes. So
no, we usually watch the Puppy Bowl, so I'll be busy watching the Puppy Bowl.
I don't know what that is.
What?
I don't know what
you don't know what the Puppy Bowl is.
Do they actually bowl with dogs? Because I'm into that. Do they roll dogs down the?
No, they do not bowl dogs. And it's not a bowl full of dogs. It is the Super Bowl, but with dogs. So it's just dogs playing together for like 2 hours. They just put puppies out on a fake little football field and they just play. And you just watch it. It's delightful.
What is it on?
And now
is it on a channel? Is it on the internet?
It's on it's on Animal Planet. So they do the Puppy Bowl on Animal Planet, and then I think now they do the Kitten Bowl on like the Hallmark Channel, and then now there's also a Fish Bowl that's on some other channel, and they're delightful.
That's
they have
ridiculous.
Commentary, and they just it's so good. And it started.
I'm learning so much.
Been doing it for like 10 years. How have you not heard of the Puppy Bowl? I'm shocked by this.
I've been eating at exclusive restaurants in Dallas. That's what I've been doing.
You've been missing out. You got to watch the Puppy Bowl. When I had my second son, so 8 years ago now, I actually bought a DVD copy of one of the Puppy Bowls to bring with me for when I went into labor so I could watch it while I was in labor because it's calming. Like you're just watching puppies. So I literally gave birth to the Puppy Bowl one year, and I still have that DVD, and my kid likes to watch it every once in a while. But yeah, I just played it on a constant loop while I was giving birth. No, of the Puppy Bowl that I watched while I was giving birth.
I'm just wondering where
there were no
the
cameras
was.
near my vagina. No.
I'm just wondering.
I did not let anyone record my live births. That's just...
Yeah. I remember my mother-in-law asking, she's like, can I come into the room for my first one? He ended up being an emergency C-section, so, absolutely not. But when I was having like a scheduled like induction and everything, and she was like, can I come in the room? Like, you can come afterwards. Like, no. And she was like, well, why not? I was like, the only person that's going to be in the room is my husband. My mom's not even invited. Like, no one is invited to my vagina party. Like, no one is invited.
Yeah, that's how I was with my first kid. I was like, no, nobody else gets to be in the room. No. And then when it actually happened and I was in labor, my mom happened to call me because she was on her way back into town. She had been to Las Vegas or something for like a work convention. And she was just getting into town. And I'm like, come to the hospital right now. I'm in labor. And I'm like, I need you. So then she was there for it because I was freaking out. And she ended up cutting the cord for my first one because my husband wanted no part of that.
That's cool.
Yeah, we planned that ahead of time. Like I told the doctors, he's not going to cut the cord. Please don't pressure him. I wouldn't want to. It's just a squeamishness thing. Like I don't want to cut through fucking flesh either. So don't make him do it.
I'd do it. I would have done it after giving birth. I'm like, can I chew through it? I want to do it.
Gross. It just sounded so disgusting to me. And of course, the doctors just totally disregarded everything I told them and were like, come on, Dad, cut the cord. And he was just kind of standing there in shock, like, I'm not going to. And so my mom was there and she's like, I'll do it. So she did it with the first one. And then with the second one, I actually ended up with 3 nursing students in the room. They did not ask me until I was well into hard labor. And they're like, is it okay if 3 students come in? And by that time, you're delirious.
Yes,
I'm like,
I don't care. They're like, we're going to raise your gown up to here, but we're going to put this little towel over your knees so you feel like you have something. Yeah, no.
It's all very modest. Nobody will see anything.
Exactly. They literally lift it all the way up over your belly, like up to your breast practically.
Oh, yeah.
And then they just put this little towel across your knees. So it's like a tent over your knees. They're like, there you go. Now you have now you feel, so you have some coverage. It's like, no, I don't. I know you're down there. I know. I can see your faces.
Yeah, my second one, my sister-in-law was there because she was training to be a doula at the time. And so I was like her first guinea pig patient that I was going to let her do her doula training on.
Yeah.
And it started when I talked to my husband, he was like, that's weird. I don't know if we should. But I just made him do it. And afterwards, he was really happy that she was there. Like, he said that took a lot of the pressure off me. Like, she could run out and get snacks and rub my back and do all this stuff that he didn't have to then have the pressure on him. And then she ended up cutting the cord with my second one because it was the same thing. I'm like, he doesn't want to do it. Leave him alone. But the whole like, yes, you can put that little towel there so I can't see it, but I know everybody else in the room can see me. This is just weird.
I wanted the mirror dropped down. That's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to see everything, but I had C-sections.
I did not.
So they wouldn't let me because they were like, it's really bad to, have C-section to be able to see it. I'm like, I want to. Please let me see it. And they thought I was a crazy person, but I literally would watch it. So, because I'm a crazy person. Oh, hell no.
I'm so squeamish. I can't even watch people drawing my blood. I'm that.
Oh, I watch it intently. I sit there and stare at it.
Ugh.
So.
Yuck. No.
I'm afraid.
They tried to get me with the mirror. They were like, here, we have a mirror, you can look. And I actually had my eyes just squeezed shut like I was on a roller coaster. Like, no,
don't want to ever see that.
No, don't want to look. No, I don't want to see it.
No, I watch
giving
the
birth
blood
is
come
fun.
out. And so we're talking about babies again. So
politics,
how did we talk about politics?
This is the politics show.
You're welcome, Chris. This is for you because you loved our parenting episode so much.
Chris loves mom shit.
He loves
That's
it
his
so
favorite
much.
thing.
He actually requested more with his comment today. So
so now we're just going to talk about gory childbirth stories because he can relate.
Yeah.
Right? He's given birth before, haven't you, Chris? You've had your body torn in half to give life to another human being.
It wasn't that bad. I don't know what you're bitching about.
It was fine.
Everything snapped right back. I still feel 23. Everything just
my body
snapped
is
right
totally
back.
the same as it used to be.
Everything is exactly back in place.
No side effects at all.
Nothing. No. I don't have weird sciatic pain.
I made
I'm like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, oh, the baby sat on that nerve. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
3 times.
I had my second one decided to just come out kicking my hip the whole time. So the whole time I'm pushing, it's just constant like pressure on my hip because I think he was just trying to like stick his limbs out.
Wedging
so he
in. He's like, no, I'm not coming out.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving.
Like, no, I'm staying here.
Well, I had actually had 3 C-sections because I had the emergency C-section first, and then I just scheduled them after that because I was like, I'll just continue the trend and
Just keep going with it.
Yeah.
No, I had 2 regular births. I got epidurals for both of them, but for the second one, the epidural did not kick in time.
My epidurals didn't work, so they had to do general 3 times. Not great because I wake up nauseated because there's something about the anesthesia that just makes me sick. So
yeah,
super fun. So I don't get to see my baby first. I see my baby when I come out of general. So it's kind of sad. No. So they could have switched them.
See mine right away.
You know what? These might not be my kids. They could have switched my babies at any time because I didn't see them actually. So,
oh my gosh,
this just became a true crime show. Yeah,
they could be Ted Cruz's for all you know. Well, he lives down there.
They are.
Right?
They literally are Ted Cruz's, but
that's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But they could be Ted Cruz's wife's baby somehow switched. I don't know.
Maybe. She and I didn't really talk much while I was conceiving. Oh, it sounds so gross. Yeah. Too far.
Oh, Ted Cruz is dreamy.
Let me dial it back. We talked all the time while I was conceiving. That's better. Okay.
Oh, you just cost us Patreon money, Amy, with your horrible conversations. That's true. Nobody gives us money.
Nobody gives us money.
Some people give us money. They're very generous.
I'm fucking delightful.
Because now people won't pledge because they hear your dirty mouth talking and they don't want any part of it because they're good Christian people.
My dirty whore mouth.
Yeah, I'm really tired right now. So there's just words coming out of my mouth and I don't know what they mean.
I have no alcohol tonight. It's very sad. Really sad about that.
Ooh,
we need more Patreon so I can buy more wine. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I don't talk to anybody sober.
Oh, speaking of which, did you pull up that outro before we started so that you'll be able to read it? Or are you not prepared as usual?
I'm not prepared as usual. To find the Google Doc.
Yeah, I don't... This is what's great about Secular Soup is that we can go from politics to giving birth in one episode. And it all ties together beautifully. So...
Does it? I don't know.
Yeah. No, it really
Not entirely sure we tied that together really well.
here's how I'm tying it together. One of my kids is going to be the president one day and is going to do a better job than Trump. So full circle. Good. I've tied it together.
Sweet. Yeah. And they call it the birth of a nation. What?
What?
I don't know. When America started, it was the birth of a nation.
Oh, I was thinking of the really racist movie, The Birth of a Nation. And
oh, no. Why would you? I've never even seen it. I don't watch that kind of stuff.
That's a different thing. I've never seen it either, but I have heard of it because I live on this planet, so...
I haven't heard of it.
Like the Puppy Bowl.
Never heard of it.
It's like the Puppy Bowl. It's just something you should have heard of. I can't. How have you missed all the Puppy Bowl marketing over the years? I'm
going to Google them. I'm going to find them. This is something.
What they do is they have the Puppy Bowl, and then they have the kitten halftime. Yeah, they have the kitten halftime show, and then the kittens they do DJ lights and stuff while the kittens play. It is so adorable.
Oh my God, that sounds adorable.
And then they'll have guinea pig commentators, and they just it gets more ostentatious every single year.
Animals.
It's fantastic.
I mean, I watched
it's just dogs playing, but they're all up for adoption. So
really?
Yeah, they put all their names up so you can they'll they're all puppies, but they'll say where you can adopt them and have a phone number so they all get adopted by the end of it. It's so cute.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they just play it on a loop all day. So it's like a 1 or 2 hour show, but then it just keeps restarting all night. So you can just keep watching.
That's really cool.
It's great. Yep, you're going to have to get on that this year.
All right, I have it up so I can do it if you're ready to wrap things up.
All right. I mean, I have a lot more to say about the Puppy Bowl, but I feel like I've hit the main points so far. So, I mean,
we've hit the 2 P's tonight: politics and puppies,
and birth.
Okay,
childbirth, everybody's favorite topic. You're welcome, Chris. All right, nope, I'm good. You go right ahead and take us out.
All right, and that's all we've got for now. Thanks to all our fabulous listeners who put up with us droning on week after week. If you enjoy our delightful bitchcraft, please like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and send us all your monies on Patreon. You can find us on those platforms by using the Google machine. It's not that hard. This week, your donations will go to the Puppy Bowl. If you want to tell the world how awful this episode was, join our Secret Soup Talk Facebook group. If you want to tell us to fuck off personally, you can send an email to secularsouppodcast@gmail.com. Please rate and review us on iTunes, Facebook, and wherever else you can review things like this. It will help us spread the soup gospel far and wide. And hey, tell your friends. As always, we'll leave you with the vocal stylings of Mr. Eli Bosnick.
Secular soup creed. Soup is the ultimate virtue. It's delicious, nutritious, patriarchy smashing, racism fighting, warm and fuzzy, human affirming, fun having, anti-theist, glitter throwing, tummy satisfying, pair of new shoes fulfilling, diversity seeking, happiness. Minestrone, beef and barley, chicken broth and split pea, gazpacho, tomato, clam chowder and potato, chicken noodle, beef noodle, egg drop and ramen cup, miso, gumbo, leek and pho. Grab a bowl and taste the magic. Slurp even this.